All right, J. Patrick Morgan, wise man, say, dude, this is real apolitical news. Um, Topic of discussion today is while it's still silent. I'm talking about silent war. Okay, before we get into it much, just um, every news thing throws something a little nonchalantly that's just something out of the way and stuff. You look up at this sky here and it's all super hazy and stuff. And this in Louisiana, this is a sign that it's fall. It's cool enough for it to be uh, steamy at the dew point that we have at the moment. This is a sign that we're definitely in fall. And you go up north, at around the same time of year. You live on top of the hill and you look down the river valley. All the clouds are down over top of the river down in the valley, and as the day gets warmer, they just kind of rise up slowly where the clouds are above you and in the air again. Um, that's that's one of the typical signs of fall. Uh, so here, that's that frivolous, if you're interested or not interested thing, like people put on regular news shows and stuff. There you go. While it's still silent, because I've been getting stuff. Some of it I just haven't shared or put out there all that much because I got a lot of uh, uh, irons in the fire and stuff. I wait for some people to vet this stuff to make sure somebody's not pulling a Halloween prank and then putting a fake video or something up on the internet, or make sure that it's not going to make us look stupid later, more or less. But yet, all kind of indications that they know that this war is very soon not going to be silent anymore. It's going to be in your face. You'll be seeing the violence and killing in the forefront. They won't be making excuses to cover up their depopulation game anymore. And so it's no longer going to be silent war, and that's happening very soon. You get up and go inside. I don't know why. Something tells me get up and go inside. So hold on here. Yeah, silent war is not going to be silent anymore. They're taking off the mute button. When I picture it in my wise band say mine, what's playing when they take off the mute button is something off from a Judas Priest album. There's going to be screaming for vengeance. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, but people are mad. So there's going to be vengeance, and there's going to be screaming for vengeance. And the chorus of that song, if you can understand the words, because it's always hard to understand somebody that's screaming. Really, you have to go look at the lyrics sometime, because screaming kind of takes away your some of your enunciation, and you don't understand the words. So a lot of people that listen to country or some other form of music, you can't even understand it. Well, the reason you can't understand it, when it's heavy metal, it's a lot of screaming. It changes the enunciation. The world is a maniacal place. We're screaming for vengeance. The world is defiled and disgraced. Very beginning of that song, because it's they're really telling you that you're being, as a citizen, as a person of the world, are being manipulated. The very first line is in that song is, "Baby, don't let them get your mind." That's what they're trying to get. They're trying to get your mind. And the psychological warfare is still a war. you don't see it as a war because you think of war as M16 guns and grenades and missiles and stuff. Psychological warfare is still a war. It's that's in a nutshell. But that's why it's silent. It's because people don't apply psychological warfare as still a war. They don't apply the depopulation thing as a war, because in a war you get shot or you get blown up or something. Well, actually, in terms of silent war, in a war you get cancer, or you're inside the war on drugs as one of those people that overdosed on drugs. Your mind's all fucked up, you took too much of it, and this time you're dead. You don't wake up. The most common time that happens is with heroin. You take it, you took way too much and you don't wake up. But there's other drugs you can do that with, designer drugs and so on. I'm just saying heroin is the easiest to get and the most common thing for people to shoot up and just never wake up. Yes, yeah, that's correct. War on drugs. That's part of it's part of distracting your mind so you don't see a lot of what's going on. You're on the streets, you don't even have a TV to watch the news. A lot of things get by you when you're heavy onto drugs. So yeah, they kill you with cancer. And the other thing is they make you sick and miserable. I'm going to lay this out point blank. It's going to be insulting to people that have family in the military or used to be in the military, or it's, you know, I'm just going to lay it out to you in a way where I'm just going to care if you like it, because it's the truth. And it's in terms of war, we see it, oh, it's justified. It was a war. We were at war against Vietnam. We were at war against Afghanistan or the Taliban or whoever we're against war at. So your army or marine soldier or something, you know, in our eyes, it's like we're doing it for the United States. We're doing it for the country. We're doing it for freedom. We're doing it for this and that. That's in our man's eyes, according to what they say when they get everybody to sign up to go to war, and what they say when they come back all fucked up because they saw so much death and they caused so much death. That's not how God looks at it. You can call them a towelhead and a terrorist and an Islamic extremist and stuff like that. And if you shot them while you were at war in the Middle East, God says that's still murder. In the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not kill. It doesn't matter what government makes an excuse for it or whatever it is. You know, you go to war, you kill somebody, it's still a violation of the Ten Commandments, no matter what. Kill somebody in self-defense, it's still the same way. If you live by the sword, you die by the sword. There's no 50 shades of gray in this thing, in the spirit. You still murdered them. You can be insulted all you want because your brother or whoever was Marine or in the Army or something, they were in those wars, but yet in God's eyes it's still murder. You want to biblically take a look at it. David put somebody in the front lines of the war knowing that he's not going to come back alive, or there's very, very little chance of him coming back alive, so that he could have that person's woman. Well, you could see that as a king putting somebody out to war, and maybe the war was justified and necessary and this, that, and the other way, but God didn't like that. because God knew his heart and knew exactly why he sent that person to the front line. He did that in an adulterative, I want your woman sense, and this is a way I can have your woman. I can send you to the front lines. You're going to be dead in a few days, and now I have your woman. God didn't like that, and that was murder. David didn't lay a hand on him. The enemy killed him, but David murdered him. You know, there's where God looks at it different. Okay, but so we're really talking about the silent war before it gets loud and you can't hear me talk about the silent war. Psychological warfare is still war, and yeah, and it kills people. This depopulation thing that's been going on. There are different ways of doing it. How you can find out is you go look at the enemy's playbook. The enemy's playbook are these rich, psychotic people. They try to look as nice as they can if they ever put them on TV to talk to you. Bill Gates looks like just about the nicest man in the world when he's being interviewed on some TV show with a smile on his face about this and that and justifying this and that and talking about this and that. He's psychotic with narcissistic personality disorder, and he does not fucking care who the fuck in your family dies from something that he's got going on, and the rest of those G7 fucking people, and UN Council and this and that, these big billionaire people that have these big meetings to decide what they're going to do with the world next because they got all the money to do it. They're fucking psychotic. When you're looking at them, they're showing you, oh, their nice, friendly side, blah blah blah. You want to compare them to somebody on TV and movies. They're Lex Luthor, they're Freddy Krueger. You want to compare them to some real people that they've had big news stories on. They're Charles Manson, they're Jim Jones. They're fucking psychotic. They do not care. They look at you as livestock. You're not a human to them. You are a piece of livestock with a number stamp on you. Don't let them tell you anything else. They can call themselves philanthropists and all this, and try to make themselves look just as nice as can be. But they're killing people. They're murdering millions of people. They've been murdering millions of people for several decades, and you don't know about it because they're it's cancer, it's coronavirus. That's biological warfare there. Chemical warfare, that goes back to cancer too, because the chemicals are a big factor in whether you get cancer. It's chemical warfare. And it's silent. You don't know about it because they're just saying, well, it's sicknesses that we have doctors that are trying to fix and cure, and we have these good doctors, and I'm not talking about the people down at the bottom level that are actually giving you chemo and radiation. They don't know. Some of them do know, but they don't say anything because they don't want to lose their jobs. I'm talking to people that put the programs and invented the stuff, the chemicals and whatever, and put all of this together. And they're all inside the military-industrial complex, and they just kind of infiltrated the medical industrial complex, and well, we can depopulate the earth and the whole world's not going to pay attention because, oh, they just died of cancer, they just died of this, they just died of that, they died in the war on drugs, they got addicted and they overdosed, and and they try to say we're trying to take all these drugs off from the streets and stuff like that. We're fighting the war on drugs. And they make these big busts and make it look like they're taking these drugs off from the streets, and people inside the CIA and all these other organizations that the elites basically control it. It's not the Pentagon well, they control the Pentagon too, so yes, it's kind of the Pentagon. But the CIA and different operatives will make sure that all those millions of dollars worth of drug busts that they're hauling away off from the streets gets replaced almost immediately. The town or the wherever is dry for a short time just to make it look good, and then all of a sudden all those drugs are right back there. And they want them there because they want your addicted brother and sister, mother or father or child to die eventually from it. And if they don't die, they're certainly pretty happy that they're completely miserable in their life with their addiction. They don't give a fuck. They're psychotic. These billionaires would control it all with their money. If you got money, you can buy a TV or a car or a house or whatever, like sane people do, with money. Or if you got money and you're psychotic, you could pay somebody $1,000 to set me up to have some freak accident, and I'm not here anymore. I'm 6 feet under. Because you got that $1,000 to pay somebody. Hey, make sure this person is right here, right at this time. We'll make it look like a robbery gone wrong. I'm broke as a joke most of the time. I don't even have to have money to rob. But that don't make it. That's. But yeah, here's $1,000. Go set this person up to die. Money is that powerful. You kill people with money. They kill people. They kill millions of people with their money. So they can make more money and use that money to kill another million or two people. They are psychotic. Bill Gates is psychotic. The Rothschilds, they're psychotic. The Jesuits up in the Vatican all the way up to the Black Pope, they're psychotic. They're Lex Luthor and Freddy Krueger and all these different supervillain kind of things you see on TV. They're evil. They're fucked up. And they don't care about you as much. They try to make it look like they care about you. Climate change is going to kill you. And they have these big meetings about climate change. And they have this big meetings about this and that. And they put that on the TV. And they put Greta on the TV. It's basically a G7 puppet girl, more or less. Not disparaging her as a, she probably really doesn't know, and it's just being used. But yeah, they're fucking psychotic, and they don't give a fuck about you. And as George Carlin said, it's one big club, and you ain't in it. Nope, you're not. You're not in it. And if you're not in it, you're exactly what they say you are in their eyes and in their context. The ones that are more Jesuit and Jewish aligned, they call Gentiles goyams. They call you goyim cattle. That means you're livestock. You might as well stick a big yellow tag in your fucking ear. You're livestock to them. And on that tag in your ear, there's a number. So you're also a number, and those numbers have dollar signs weaved in and out of it because they want to keep their power with their money and keep you poor so you have no power. They're just as psychotic as every famous psychotic person you've ever heard of, whether they're real life like Charles Manson and Jim Jones, or whether they're fictional like Lex Luthor. He's the perfect example because he's a billionaire He's got his money and 500 different laboratories, so that he's capable of making a doomsday creature to kill Superman, and tossing his money around. Anybody that doesn't like what he's doing tries to go and say something. Hey, this guy is doing, he's going to kill him. He's going to shut him up. Or he's going to shut them up if they're still useful. He still needs them to do something. He shuts them up another way. I know where your daughter or grandkids or whoever go to school. This is the address of their school. This is their address. And, seeing as I know all this stuff about where your significant loved ones are, you better keep doing what I, want you to do for my plans and my thing. Yeah, the Lex Luthor is fictionalized, the best comparison you could probably make to these people that have that kind of money. And, they'll kill Superman, they'll kill Lois Lane, they'll kill everybody on the streets that's in the way. Just like Godzilla marching through the streets, it's just going to stomp on a car or a bus full of people, and those people are dead. They'll kill everyone that's in their path from what they want. And what they want is not pretty. They'll try to make it sound like it's going to be pretty. This is the world we want, and it's going to be pretty. I'm going to take a line from my science fiction story that I wrote called Land of No Opinions. It's just not pretty. It's one of the good guys there. He was basically saying there's something nefarious going on here, and it's just not pretty. That was the whole context of the line. Yeah, it's not pretty what they want, and it's not pretty what they're doing to get it. And the reason the war is silent is because they keep detracting it over this, wasn't murdered, died of cancer. Well, all the chemicals that you put in the food and all the, different things that you've done over the years to make the statistics of cancer rates that used to be all mainly just old people, and now it's tons of children too. The line on the graph goes way up here in cancer, and the line on the graph for how many new chemicals, food chemicals, this, that, and the other thing that they put out on the market, and they put in water too, and everything else. You'll see the kind of a match. In a way, that line goes up on the graph. This many people died of cancer. Now this many people are dying of cancer. This many chemicals and this and that and the other thing that were invented and put on the market. And it's like a parallel line. They'll never meet each other if you put them side by side, because at right there, they say correlation doesn't equal causation. Well, the fuck it doesn't. It does equal causation. The only step that you have to take after that is to explain that parallel. If you're seeing that parallel, that's the first sign that the next step you're going to do is explain that parallel, and you're going to find exactly every time you see a correlation, you're going to find that causation. And you'll be able to show people, yes, it does equal causation, because this here, and this study right here, and this here, and this that we already know and have known for years here, and they'll be able to pair that apart, and it does equal causation. The lines match. Number of children dying of cancer, number of chemicals introduced onto the market that all children eat or drink or put on their skin or whatever. There you go. And the percentage of children that are vaccinated, there's a line there, and then there's another parallel line, the percentage of children that get permanent, supposedly uncurable autoimmune disorders. And another line right next to it, a certain number of children increased here that are getting neurological disorders. And another line next to it, because it has not been evaluated for carcinogenic or mutagenic properties. It says that on the inserts. I'm going back to the inserts. And the childhood cancers. Yep, there you go. All those lines are so freaking parallel. It looks like you're making parking spaces for a new store. They're lined right up. So there's an equal spot for just about everybody to park, and the only ones that are wider are the handicapped ones, so they have room to get between cars with their wheelchairs. That's how perfectly lined up that all of those correlations are. You want to see where it equals causation, you just take that next step. This science study says this says that, we already know this already, there you go. This is what's causing it. John D. Rockefeller, Masonic Creed, he's psychotic. He says we will entice them with sweet things and these nice and all this bells and whistles and happy things, and they'll be laced with poison, and then we'll give them more poisons and call them cures for the poisons that they just gave them. I'm quoting John D. fucking Rockefeller. The Masonic Creed. This is what we're going to do to society, to knock down the population, control the population. We're going to make people sick and die. And we're going to start wars too, because that kills lots of people. So yeah, the silent war is going to be loud pretty soon. So I'm talking to you about the silent war. You don't see it because it's quiet. The mute button is on right now. And this is J. Patrick Morgan. Go look on my timeline. I put the John D. Rockefeller Masonic Creed. Just type it in search. When you go to my profile, you'll find it. Read through it. It'll make you sick. Keep your puke buckets and puke bags next to you, because it'll make you fucking sick what this psychotic man said. He's killing your brothers and sisters and your children. Him and his band of rich people that control things with their money. Go read it. This is the wise man Dude with real apolitical news. Bye, y'all.